Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome to the first coffee corner of 2022. If you are new here, welcome. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are wondering what coffee corner is, well, let me give you a little chit chat about it. Coffee corner is what I do normally once a week during the summers and when I have a day off of school. For those of you who don't know, I'm a special education para, and today is a professional development day for teachers. That means I don't have to be there. But to make sure that I keep myself on my schedule for school, I typically stay awake on the days that I only have a day off of school so that I make sure to keep my body in its normal schedule. So coffee corner it's called that because we're typically drinking coffee at 7 a.m. And here is my coffee cup. If you can see, it's got little Mickeys on it. It is one of the throwaway cups that you get in the rooms at Disney. So I always bring, anytime I go anywhere, whether it's Disney or a hotel or something, I always take the disposable coffee cups because they will actually throw them away after you have been in there if you don't take them. So I bring them home, I put them in my coffee bar, and it's kind of fun, especially when I end up grabbing one that is a Disney one. It puts a little Disney magic in my day. So it is, I can't believe that it's the 17th of January already. Now, granted, for like the first 9 days of the year, Sam and I were still in Disney, but like last week of school, for those of you, like, I think everyone understands this, whether like it's from remembering from your school days or from if you have kids, like the week went both really fast and really slow at the same time. Our teacher is out currently. He's still going to be out. Like the classroom teacher that I'm in is still out this next week. And we had subs every day last week. And if you know kids, they try to get away with everything when there's a sub. But thankfully, we had two of the more strict subs in the classroom. The funnier part is that one of the subs is actually a sub that I know really well. She's good friends with my family. She was a sub when I was in school, so she's been around a while. And the other sub was actually one of my 6th grade teachers, and so I know her really well too. Like, this was the teacher I was scared of in 6th grade, y'all. I actually feel really bad for her looking back because her 6th grade, at least where we're 5th grade, starting in 5th grade now, but it started in 6th grade when I was in 6th grade. You go back and forth between 2 to 3 teachers to get you prepared for starting middle school. And the summer between 5th and 6th grade is when I got diagnosed with epilepsy. So not only were they working on trying to balance out medication, like it set my attitude like up and down and spiral around. So I feel really bad for my 6th grade teachers, but they, like, both of them were so kind. And I really thought at that time, like, oh my gosh, she is like the worst teacher ever. And she hates me. And she really didn't. She just wanted me to do my best and knew that I had good potential. And she was trying to really work in a really difficult situation dealing with me and my like all the medicine ups and downs. So I felt really bad for her, but I really do admire her as a teacher. And she puts those kids in their place, let me tell you. So anyway, this past weekend it was supposed to be really bad weather. They were forecast, I was getting texts like all day on Friday at school that we were in a winter weather advisory and all kinds of stuff. And Sam and I still had to we had to do grocery shopping and stuff on Friday. So we we just ended up going to Newton and doing like basic grocery shopping. And then Saturday and yesterday we ended up picking up more stuff. But Sam and I both we ran the 5K, and I know I knew in my head I was out of shape. Like, I knew I wasn't in great physical shape, But let me tell you, after walking that 5K, and like, it wasn't this like leisurely walk that you walk through the parks. It was, let's strap on our jet shoes and move. Um, yeah, I knew I needed to lose some weight. And Sam has, he's been out of the military a couple of years. He really hasn't worked out a whole lot since. So we both have been trying to watch what we eat, making healthier choices. My first weigh-in back was today, and I lost 4.2 pounds. So I was really proud of myself. That is simply with the walking that I did at school, a little bit of extra walking, though like no purposeful exercise. And I know I told you guys, I think I told you guys this, maybe I didn't. We got a gym membership and we didn't go last week. One, we were both trying to get back into the routine of going to work and going to school and being back in that routine. And Sam had his first week of class. So I think we decided to start this week, and we're going to go to the gym Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So tomorrow will be our first gym day. So I will definitely make sure to stay hydrated tomorrow so that I can get a good workout in after school. But I was really proud of myself, and I even only drank, any like alcohol over the weekend, and that's because of TikTok. I found this quote recipe from someone, and I did it yesterday for the Fitness Friday video. So you'll make sure, if you want to see how to make it, make sure that you're watching the Fitness Friday video. But it was so good, and it's dangerous good. Okay, hold on. I kicked up the floor furnace and it's getting kind of warm. So I'm going to run over and kick down the furnace, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we don't have central heating and air. We have an air conditioner, and it's like right over here. And we have a old floor furnace. So it gets warm really quick, which is really nice. I feel like I've said a lot in like the first 10 minutes, almost without a breath. So I see that there are a couple people watching. Hello. Glad that you are here. Make sure to say hi in the comments if you're hanging out with us. So I know Christie from Christie's Corner is going to be joining us in a little bit. She was finishing getting ready for work, and so then she will be hopping on to hang out. Christie normally hangs out with me for this. Sam is sending me pictures on Facebook Messenger of someone that did a shadow box with their medal and their bib and stuff from the 5K, and wanting to know if I wanted to do something similar. And I'm like, yes, please. First drink of coffee this morning. Yum. I actually haven't had coffee in a week. I know. How am I dealing? Not well. I've been drinking iced tea in the morning. Right before Christmas break, I always filled my cup with coffee. And I only got iced coffee. But that particular morning, I decided to get hot coffee. And I forgot my Tervis cup at home. So I just used one of the Casey's cups. And I didn't realize they were having some manufacturing problems where like one half of the lip was like solid and the lid wasn't staying on well. I got some, like, half my cup of coffee dumped on me on the bus. Not fun. So I think I've been like terrified to drink hot coffee since. So, I'm drinking my first hot coffee since then. So hopefully I don't spill it, which would be bad. So tell me, I guess if you're watching this in the replay, you can tell me in the comments, what is your goals for 2022? Mine aren't, I did a video on mine and you can find it on in the Vlogmas section of the video of our channel. Also, if you were not aware, we did make some scheduling changes to our videos. I talked about this in a live stream actually last Monday. I did a live stream kind of giving you guys a kind of a what's going to happen channel changes video type thing. I am going down to posting 3 days a week. That does not include if like I'm in a swap or if I have a collab going on. And then of course there will be a few more videos. But I felt like when I was doing daily videos, I wasn't giving you guys the best of my ability. I was trying to knock out 4 or 5 videos in a day. And I felt like they weren't my best videos. So I have went to 3 days. Tuesdays will be travel or craft or cooking videos. Thursdays are travel tips, and Fridays are the fitness Fridays. So, and travel tips, I will give you guys random travel tips in between our vacations. I'm hoping that the current videos that we are doing and the ones, hold on, I'm going to mute you guys real quick. Okay, I did not think you guys wanted to hear me blow my nose. Good morning, Timothy Rainwaters. Welcome in. Glad you're hanging out with us this morning. I'm hoping that our videos will, from the trip that we are on, will last into July, which is when our next trip is. So I'm hoping that we can get through there. But if not, I've got tons of craft stuff that I got over the holidays, and I can't wait to try it out. So those will be, obviously you'll get videos on those. So in between travel videos, you will get these other videos. And I know that when I first started, it was Tuesdays and Saturdays, and eventually it may go back to Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I don't know. It just seemed like a really weird, like, here's this one video out over here, and then I've got 3 videos in a row over here. So I don't know. It's finding a balance. And even after 2 years, I haven't found that balance yet. I have decided that TikTok is dangerous. And here's why. It makes me want all the things. It makes me want to craft all the things. And it makes me want to cook all of the things. Literally, Sam and I were yesterday's morning, Sam worked on homework, and then we went to Wichita to do a couple things. I'm going to take a bite of my breakfast sandwich. This is my breakfast sandwich. It is a Panera Bread Asiago bagel with 2 eggs and a slice of Velveeta cheddar pepper jack cheese. It's very good. And so when we got home, we decided to just kind of pop in a movie on YouTube or on Disney Plus. And I'm scrolling through TikTok, and and I love tea. I love tea a lot. I drink a lot of it. We have a lot of it in the house. And I came across this tea house that has a TikTok account, like in your like free scrolling, and it was talking about how to make tea sandwiches. And it was like, use chive sour cream. And I'm like, I just bought chive sour cream at Panera. Okay, continue. Thin cucumber slices. I just bought a ton of cucumbers and white bread. I have white bread. That's it. And I'm like, I can do that. So I'm going to be making that for my lunch. I'm very excited about that. It's probably higher in points for a single sandwich than I would normally do. But I also plan to try. I have a couple Quest protein bars that I have picked up that I was going to do Fitness Friday videos for. And so I figured I can taste test the protein bar along with my cucumber sandwich and get a video done. So that way I have next Friday's Fitness Friday video done. Also, if you have one of those like stores in your mall, or they have a kiosk, like they're all of the calendars and stuff, all the calendars are 75% off right now. And we're like in January 17th, and usually they don't put them on sale until like much later. And Sam and I each got new calendars. Sam got a Disney Classics calendar, and I got like an organizational calendar because I'm not organized, guys. I may look like it, but I'm not. I'm really not. I think I talked about this in a video. Like, I clean in my craft area where you guys can see it. And sometimes if I have dishes, I'll scoot this way so that you can't see my kitchen. That is my life. I'm tired. Sam's tired. We eat off of paper plates. I mean, it is what it is sometimes, right? I've had a couple people message me and ask when we're going to start having craft and chat again, and I'm not sure is the answer on that one. I do think that we are like it was every Sunday for a while, and that was a lot because sometimes I didn't feel like I had enough to work on, or I didn't know what I wanted to work on, and so it was hard to pick just one thing. Then there was just a lot going on at the holidays, and so we really didn't do anything in December. So I think they're going to restart in February, and they're going to be one Saturday a month, and that way I can get my thoughts together and have a couple projects and know what projects I want to work on that particular month. So I will post on Instagram and let you know when the next craft and chat is going to be. Promise. Sorry, reading an email. One of the things, like, tell me if this is you as well. When you are off work for something, whether it's you're on vacation or you have a day off of work, does anyone else check their work email, like to make sure you're not missing something? I didn't check my work email before or like while I was on vacation, and we came back, and there was like, we were apparently buddied up with a student from another grade, and they're like, do you know who your student is? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, your email. And I go, I haven't checked my email in like 3 weeks. And they're like, can you please check your email and then come back to us? And I'm like, sorry, I was on break. I've been in Florida the whole time. So it was really funny that what I get, the point of it is they're trying to establish relationships between adults and students who may be a little bit more shy, who may not be like all that outgoing. And so I have a first grader, and it's a girl. I'm not going to say her name because I want to keep it confidential. Even though you guys wouldn't know who it is, that's still a thing. It was really funny because the first day, like, she wasn't, like, on Monday, she wasn't there. So Tuesday, I go up to the counselor and I said, okay, is she here? And she goes, oh yeah, she's in that outfit right there. And thankfully she comes bounding down the stairs of the bleachers before school started. And I'm like, hey, my name's Miss Lena, and I'm going to be your buddy for the next couple weeks. And she just looked at me like, what? Like, you could hear, like, when you, like, cartoons, you see those, like, thought bubbles, and you could see the one coming up her head going, stranger danger, stranger danger. So literally, I'm trying to talk to her, and I'm, like, almost literally chasing her around the gym, which was entertaining, but I felt quite frustrated by it. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, every Wednesday we have a staff meeting, and the principal's like, don't be afraid to chase them around the gym if you have to. Lena had to chase her kid around the gym, and I'm like, I was completely embarrassed over it, to be quite honest. And one of the teachers goes, oh yeah, he used you as an example in the regular staff meeting too, because the teachers have a meeting and then aides and paras have a meeting. And I'm like, phenomenal. So the funnier part about this is that same Wednesday, I was on my lunch break, and I was actually going to go talk to another teacher, and I happened to see first grade, because she's a first grader, come out of music. And the music teacher and I are best friends. Like, she is me in a younger version, which is scary that there's two of us. And she was like, says, come here to my girl. She goes, I hear that you are buddies with Miss Lena, and she is like my bestest friend in the whole world, and you are guys, she's awesome. And like, after that, like, she grabbed me by the hand, and thankfully I was on, and I would have done it either way, but thankfully I had a longer lunch break period because they had I don't sit in with them when they're in Spanish, so I didn't have to be in there. And I literally was dragged down to her first grade classroom, and she was like, this is my desk, and this is my stuffed monkey, and this is where I like to read in this classroom. And then she took me to the other two first grade classrooms, and she's like, and this is where I have MTSS. And MTSS, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's like extra math and extra reading time. And this is where I have MTSS, and this is where I like to read in this classroom, and this is where I do this, and this is where I like to read in this. I was like, are we sure this is the same student from yesterday? Because the child won't shut up. I'm like, I'm glad, don't get me wrong, but it was like a complete like turnaround from the day prior. And then Thursday and Friday, I made it a point during that same time frame. I just popped out of the class and walked, because I'm in 5th grade. So I'm over on one side, and they're in the whole other side of the building in 1st grade. So I walked all the way down to 1st grade and popped in. On Thursday, I popped in when she was in music. And so they were doing Just Dance Party. And so she had me do Just Dance Party with her for a little bit. And then on Friday, I went in and saw her when she was at lunch. But like, she's like, Miss Lena, every time she sees me in the hallway now, which is great, because that's what they want. They want them to form these relationships with people that outside of their grade level, which I think is great. But like, they're trying to figure out, because the initial email said that you were supposed to talk to them before school started, but before assembly, because we have assembly where we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we read the lunch count, we go over character coupons. Character coupons, it's like when teachers or other students see a student doing something nice for someone else, like we can give them a character coupon, and they get like a little sticker, and they get recognized at assembly in front of the school. So, and then birthdays and whatnot. So, but I mean, I get off the bus at 8:05. Assembly starts at 8:10. So by the time I get off the bus, and if the bus is running late, we don't make it to assembly. So I brought up at staff meeting on Wednesday. I'm like, what if we can't see them before assembly? And right now, because all the COVID cases are up, we aren't having assembly right now. And they're just going straight to their classrooms at 8:05. So he's like, whenever you can catch them is fine. I've been going to see because he has somebody, and he goes, I see mine when I pop in out of my office for like 5 minutes during their lunch. If you have to pop out in the middle of a class to go see your person, that's fine. And we're all going, oh, good, because we're all thinking, how are we supposed to see these kids when there's no assembly? And how are we supposed to see them when there's such a small time frame for some of us? So knowing that there's this other option to see them, it makes me really happy. And look who joined me.
I was about to message you and say backstage.
I saw ya. I was finishing my thought before because otherwise I was going to go.
Yeah, I know that. Hi, Timothy.
It's just been me. I saw it, like Timothy popped in for a few seconds, and I've had 1 or 2 people in, but I mean, I know everyone's at work. It's very weird.
Not everyone, but it is like in the morning, and we haven't done we haven't done coffee corner in a while. We haven't done castle chat in a long time either.
We haven't done travel talk in forever.
I know, like nothing.
The holidays are really hard for live streaming.
Yeah.
And like you have no holidays, and then boom, you have Halloween, boom, you have Thanksgiving, boom, you have Christmas, boom, you have New Year's.
Yeah. And like, then you're going on vacations.
Exactly. It's like, what is happening here?
Yep.
So we need to get another travel talk going.
We do.
And I know you were having a lot of school sports stuff going on, which everything seemed to conflict with those.
Yeah. Presley's basketball practice was on Thursday nights. And then, of course, you got the games. And then Ephraim had cross country every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mm-hmm. And then in February, he starts track. So it's not bad. And February is also Girl Scout cookie season. I just actually had to do the cookie lottery and get booths yesterday.
Oh, are you cookie mom again?
Yeah.
How do you get that? I'm going to have to teach you this word I taught my mom. No.
Oh, I was not, it was not optional because, I didn't know that, like when I was reading the paperwork when it first came in to sign your child up for Girl Scouts, it said that the parent had to be signed up as a volunteer in order for the kid to go camping. That's how I read it, but that's not it. You had to be signed up as a volunteer if you want to go camping with your kid. So I signed up as a volunteer, and I'm the only mom that did. So there you go. And then our assistant, our co-leader, she moved away. So the leader's been trying to talk me into being a co-leader. And I was like, I can't. I will help you as much as I can, but I cannot be a co-leader. So she doesn't even have a co-leader right now.
See, how are you guys allowed to have meetings?
Well, we have one more volunteer that signed up, the year after my daughter signed up. So the two of us sit in the classroom while she teaches.
Okay, I was gonna say because we, that was a problem because I was a Girl Scout troop leader for 5th grade like 8 years ago. Oh yeah, I did. See, I pulled a Christie and said, I'll help wherever you need it. And I ended up being in charge of day camp.
No.
I'm like, they're like, by the way, you're going to be in charge of day camp. And I went, say what? Like, we don't have a camp director. So you're going to be in charge of day camp.
Well, our Girl Scout leader, she knows that I don't really have a whole lot of patience. Because when we did go camping, I screamed at the girls once. And they were like, 4 of them started crying.
Nice. That sounds like something I would do.
Okay.
That's hilarious. But like Christie, learn from Christie. Learn from me. Don't just go, I'll volunteer where you need me. It doesn't go so well.
No.
Have you seen the new Magical Extras pack for the 50th anniversary?
I don't think so. If it came out yesterday, I haven't.
No, it came out in October.
Oh, then probably.
These are the new luggage tags.
Oh, nice. Those are pretty.
You get these if you book a package.
You know, I didn't get luggage tags last time I booked.
You have to pick them up at the front desk.
They don't mail to you anymore?
They are not mailed to you anymore. You have to pick them up at the front desk at check-in.
At checkout?
Check-in.
Check-in.
Yep, at check-in.
Well, I was there in October.
Yep. If you check in, if you have a package, which is...
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't pay for my room there, so maybe why.
Yeah, if you have a package, and you can't get them if you, have a room only reservation. It has to be a package. So,
well, I didn't even have room only. I just had park passes. I stayed for free when I stayed at Disney in October, and technically it was September.
So yeah, they wouldn't have been out yet.
I was staying at Universal property by October, but I was still at Disney. Which is weird. I'm sorry. My first day was at Disney. My next 3 days were at Universal. My last 2 days were at Disney, and I stayed at Disney the first 2 days.
But because I learned that because when we checked in, like, we ended up spending about $260. Let's say $300 with a lift, and we actually changed from Universal to Disney 2 days early because we were just done with Universal. So,
and I get it. Like, it probably would have cost you more to sit there and take Ubers back and forth from Universal to Disney property.
Well, and we didn't have tickets.
Oh.
Our tickets didn't start until our package, which was on the 4th. So when we switched over 2 days, 2 days early, like, we ended up just kind of wandering around Disney Springs. We just did like a lot of the free stuff. We rode the bus to Magic Kingdom, got on the monorail, went over to the Contemporary, wandered around there, and then got on the boat from the Contemporary to Wilderness Lodge. Ate there, and then rode the boat around for like an hour.
I will say, like, I don't always have down days when I go. I didn't last time, and I didn't 2 times before that. But when I went in 2019, we had one down day, and we went and played mini golf, walked around the boardwalk resorts. It was fun.
See, when I book a package for anyone, and I don't know, Christie, you're one client that I'm letting you keep.
Letting me. I knew him before you anyway.
Hey, he came to me, so I mean, if for those of you who didn't know, Christie and I are both travel agents for Magical Enchanted Vacations, which is why we have a show called Travel Talk, which we haven't done
forever.
We haven't done for a while. But we both have the same admin, Randy, and he booked his marathon trip with Christie, and he was like, "Since I'll book the you next," and Christie's like, "No, he's my only client." So I'm like, "Well, you can keep him. It's okay."
He is my only client right now,
except for yourself.
Yeah, but I don't know. The next time we'll be on vacation. We don't have anything planned. I mean, we had talked about Disney in February of 2023, but then again, we've also talked about not doing it. So I've not booked anything, and we haven't had that discussion again. So I don't know.
Well, 2023 that far out isn't open yet anyway. So
I know it won't be open till like June.
Yeah. Yeah. We have 2 trips booked. We're staying at Pop in July for a week, and then we have Pop again in December for 2 weeks, where we're going to try to do the marathon again, the 5K again.
That's what I want to do. That's why I want to go in February 2023. So I was actually going to ask you this. Say I plan to do the marathon and I sign up for it because I know it comes up earlier than room reservations does for whatever reason. If I end up not going and still booking the marathon, do they send you your stuff or do you have to be there to get it?
You have to be there to get it,
So,
unless you do a virtual.
yeah, I've done virtuals.
And they are, I'm trying to think how, number one, they're really hard to get a hold of. Run Disney is super hard to get a hold of. And two, they don't like to do refunds. And that's something that you actually agree to when you are clicking like the stuff. You agree that if you weren't there, you forfeit. They don't do deferrals or anything anymore.
Well, they probably would if there was some extreme circumstance, but in general,
they don't do that. I know that they did a lot this past year because there were people that came like right beforehand. They popped positive for COVID. Yeah. Thank you to those people for not coming.
Although some probably still did.
I'm sure. I have read a lot where in some of my run groups where like people who ran all 4 races came home and tested positive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. Sam and I were really lucky, but we tried to take every precaution. We had hand sanitizer. We had our masks. There were people and I think that the cast members were just really tired of arguing with people. There were people who wouldn't wear their masks in line. They wouldn't wear them on the ride. And they're like, the cast members aren't going to say anything to me. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, they're tired of talking to you.
Yeah.
They're just tired of it.
You also think about this is that your immune system gets really low when you wear yourself out like that. So you have all those people that did all those runs, their immune system is low. They come anywhere near it and they're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's exactly it. And Sam and I talked about that too. We're like, I think, even though I think he got really bored, the 31st and the 1st, we really didn't do a whole lot. We went to the Universal till about lunch, both of those days, and then we went back to our room. I think doing that, like, we were able to rest and nap and do all that, and we weren't like completely worn out when it came to the 5K. One of the things that, we're going to have a video on this. Universal doesn't do anything at their resorts for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, you told me that. And I'm wondering if it's because they do Mardi Gras, because they're already been working on Mardi Gras.
Yeah, but you would think, they don't even show movies by the pool or anything. It's almost just a place to sleep. It's pretty much like a Motel 6. There's nothing going on. I get it. They have.
I felt that, but I thought because I used one of those like value resorts that were like, what do they call them again? Something
Endless Summer.
Well, yeah, the Endless Summer.
They're value. They're just value resorts.
Because don't they have a Value Plus resorts?
Yeah, that's Cabana Bay and Aventura.
Okay, so I stayed at their value resort in comparison with Disney's value resorts, and I felt like the resort itself was nicer. It was cleaner, way cleaner, because I've stayed at a value resort at Disney only once. But the one at Universal was way cleaner. But there, like you said, it was a place to sleep. There wasn't anything going on. They don't have activities by the pool or anything like that. But the other thing I will say is even though the Universal value resort was way cheaper, it was like $66 a night as opposed to $120 at Disney, way cleaner. I was on like the 10th floor. They have like 15 floors. I was on the 10th floor. It's a big, huge building, and there's only 2 elevators on each side. And there's no reason to track all the way down to the other side because, I mean, that's a long, long, long walk. So there's two elevators on each side. I would spend like 15 minutes waiting on an elevator. Yep. I'm not going to haul my butt up 10 cases.
Especially at the end of the night when you're like exhausted.
Right. Now, if I had been on the second or third floor, sure. But no, I was waiting like 10, 15 minutes for an elevator in the evenings, even at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And the other thing is I don't ever see this at Disney, but I saw this at Universal. When I was waiting on the elevator, there were about probably 8 guys coming in with a bunch of beer, and they all smelled like illegal substances, because I don't want to say the words on the live stream, but they smelled like beer and had a bunch of beer, smelled like illegal substance. And they were like, I don't know, acting crazy waiting on an elevator. I was super uncomfortable, and they were getting in the elevator, and they're like, "Oh, there's room for you." I was like, "I'll wait on the next one, thank you."
Thanks, but no.
I mean, it seems like they were probably nice, young, like mid-20s guys, but I'm sorry, I don't want to get in an elevator with a bunch of drunk guys. 8 of them.
This is not a frat party, thank you.
Well, I mean, they did seem like they were probably nice, but at the same time, I was a lonely person. Not lonely, but I was alone, and I wasn't going to get on an elevator with
8 100%.
men.
100%.
Like midnight.
Yeah, 100%. See, and I know you've told me like what resort you were at and stuff that you had all the problems with. And see, we were at All-Star Movies. And that was for both reservations. That's why and we were able to they were actually able to move us around. We had paid for a preferred, but we told them that we would be willing to take a refund on the amount, like the room price difference. And so we actually got to stay in our room for the full week instead of being there for 2 nights and then moving to another room.
Oh, so they gave you a standard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we paid for a standard for the nights that we escaped.
Yeah, you added on.
So it was, and we never had a problem with like trash, but I think a lot of people don't realize that and it's different now. You can either accept house cleaning every other day or decline it overall. And if you decline it overall, you actually, all you have to do is call room services and they will come pick up your trash.
Oh yeah, they did. For mine.
But people don't realize that.
Right. So for clarity that anyone is watching this now or coming back to watch it, is I stayed at Pop. And this was in October of 2020. So it was new, fresh out of like a couple of months after the resorts reopened. Their staffing was low. And I was staying 10 nights. And it wasn't just the room issues we had. We had a lot of other issues throughout the entire stay. But the room issues consisted of the trash cans were always full. In the morning and the night, they were never not full. They were overflowing. They were stinky, so much so that there was trash on the ground. And they have their trash cans like by the stairwells on each level. And they were just disgusting. In our room, we got there, it was clean. There was no problem with the cleanliness of the room. My issue with the room was that even when they did come and clean, they would take towels out and toilet paper, toilet paper we used, but they would take the towels out and not replenish them. They would come clean and not replenish them. I'm like, why wouldn't they leave us any towels? So it was a thing of short staff for sure. They were definitely short staffed. And the staff members that were there that helped us didn't really know what they were doing. So they were probably new. So we had tons and tons of issues with the resort. I liked that it was right by the Skyliner, but we had issues. But they reimbursed us in a very lovely way. They gave us 2 free nights at the Grand Floridian. And that's why I got to go twice in 2020. So it's not always that a resort's bad. But I will say the value resorts at Universal are cheaper and nicer. They're all indoors, so you're not like walking outside. But there's nothing wrong with the value resorts at Disney as long as they have staffing to clean.
And Sam and I are going to do a video like comparing and contrasting, because like I would say Universal to Disney, the values at Universal would be the Endless Summer, which is Dockside and Surfside, comparative to the All Stars at Disney, which would be sports, music, and movies. And then their value plus at Universal would be Cabana Bay and Aventura, compared to Pop Century and Art of Animation at Disney.
I stayed at Pop Century, and I still think that the value resorts are at Universal are nicer than the, I guess, step up for value at Disney, because they just bucket them all in value. But I would agree, Pop and Art of Animation are a step up above the All Stars.
And when they first opened the Skyliner, there, and I don't know if you heard this as well, Christie, or not, there was talk in a lot of the Disney groups and in the Disney circles that Disney was going to restructure the resorts, and we were going to have value and value plus, moderate and deluxe, and they were going to rebrand any of the resorts that were on the Skyliner as value plus. But then they
what about the deluxe resorts that are
right, but then they had the Riviera, which was on the Skyliner. And so I think once the Riviera was on the Skyliner, they couldn't rebrand them that way. So I think it got, I think it was like, I think if they said, well, this is a value and this is a value plus because it's on the Skyliner, like,
you would have to do something special for all the ones that are on the others, like even the monorail ones. But so what they did instead is they just jacked up the price, because the prices for Pop is a lot higher than it was.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So probably this will probably end up when Christie and I can get our crap together and do a travel talk. This will probably end up being a travel talk live stream.
Yeah, probably.
Because I know Christie has strong opinions on it, and I know I have strong opinions on it, and so I think it'd be a really good live stream.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't like, just because my experience was bad at Pop Century or one of their value resorts doesn't mean other people's were.
Right, and that's like my experience, and I think I don't think I did enough research. Because if I had known that they didn't do a whole lot over New Year's Eve, we probably would have done a few days at Universal and then switched over, like maybe on New Year's Eve. So, and I know that there's a lot of people who have strong feelings about that. Like, if you're doing both theme parks, Universal and Disney, which do you do first? Disney, then Universal, Universal, then Disney. There's people who have strong feelings going both ways on that, too.
Me too. I'm a pass holder for Universal.
Same here.
So my last day, my checkout day is always at Universal, because I'm driving. So if I absolutely want to stay all day, I can just grab a hotel on my way home. Or, sleep in a parking lot somewhere, because I've done that. But
Christie's living out of her van now.
But if I'm on a family trip, because the jumping over Universal before I head home is always what I do when it's just me or me and my sister. Even my last trip, I didn't go into the parks, but I jumped over to City Walk and went to Voodoo Donuts and grabbed some coffee, and then went to the shop and got my souvenirs for Universal, because I didn't get any while I was at Universal before. But on a typical trip for me, I split it up to where I do, because I always do 8 days at Disney and 1 to 2 days at Universal. So, 6 days at Disney and 1 to 2 days at Universal, because it's an 8-day trip. So what I usually do is I'll do the first 4 days at Disney, 1 or 2 days in the middle at Universal, and then the last of the days at Disney. And I typically try to make Magic Kingdom my last day, because it's the whole magic of it. But I will say there has been 2 trips where Epcot was my last day.
Sam and I were really excited because while we were at Disney, they released dates for Flower and Garden. And we will actually get to
Festival of the Arts or Flower and Garden?
Flower and Garden.
Okay. Because that's the one that's in the spring to summer.
Right. Now, used to Flower and Garden only was through like the beginning of June. But it started earlier in February. Well, now that they have Festival of the Arts, and Festival of the Arts when they first started it was only like a couple of weeks. Now it's about a month now ish.
Mm-hmm.
And they're moving Flower and Garden to start later in February. It goes through the 5th of July. On my bucket list since forever has been to go to Flower and Garden. I get to go to the last 3 days of Flower and Garden. I'm completely pumped.
I need to start scheduling my trips outside of the fall to winter because I've been to Food and Wine multiple times and Festival of the Holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the room when we were looking at our park days for this last trip, there was the rumors that Festival of the Holidays was going to start on the Saturday of marathon weekend, and it didn't. It started like this last weekend. I was like, oh.
I was lucky when I went in 2019. We went for Thanksgiving, and our first day at Disney was the last day of the Food and Wine Festival, and our last day at Disney was the first day of Festival of the Holidays. So when I figured that out, I was like, okay, those are my 2 Epcot days. Because like I said, most of the time I try to do Magic Kingdom as the last day, but if it falls on like an opening or ending day of a festival,
I'm there. Thank you. Yeah. And so Sam and I originally had planned to leave because we're driving. We're driving for our July trip and our December trip. Pray for us on that one. On Friday and get in on Saturday because we can drive all the way to Nashville and then it's a long trek, Nashville to Orlando, but
it's 12 hours.
It's doable.
Well, it's technically 10 and a half hours, but you lose an hour. So I just go ahead and bucket into 12 hours. Then you got to factor in any stops. And sometimes stops take like an hour. Not like one stop, but between those stops.
Right. And see, you have to make more stops because you have kids.
Well, even when I go by myself, I like to drink a lot of water and I pee constantly. It's usually me needing to stop, not the kids.
Sam has gotten to like I won't say anything. I'll just sit there and like he goes, "You stop talking when you have to pee," and I'm like, "I do." He's like, "Yeah." So he'll go, "Hey, there's a rest stop. You want to stop?" "No, it's okay. I need to stop." "Great, I've got to go to the bathroom." And it's like, seriously, I just asked you.
I'm the same. I'm not the same way, but rest stops are my favorite places to stop to use the bathroom because. Well, they're cleaner. And it's way easier to just get in and out of there. The only time, even when I stop for gas, I do not go into the bathrooms. I wait till the rest stop.
We try to stop for gas at truck stops.
Yeah.
Because the truck stops are super clean.
They are, yeah.
Like, the one thing that I have to say about truck, like that is one of the great things about, and there's usually 2 or 3 different options for food because that's what Sam and I do. We try to match our food stops with a stop that we need to get gas.
Yeah.
So like it'll say Love's, like, and we're always Sam has
looking for Loves. Is that like a thing everybody does? Because we do.
I think so. I think we look for Loves, and we use the app Gas Buddy. Sam downloaded it before our trip to Miami last July, and it saved us so much money on gas because it tells you coming up like there's 4 gas stations. Here's the cheapest gas, and Sam like a couple times Sam and I are like, I don't know that brand. We'll pay 3 cents more over here because it's Shell or it's Love's or it's BP. Hey, Loki. But it really does help to know what the gas prices are. And something that we learned right away, Starbucks aren't a big thing in like the South.
Mm-mm. No.
Like, because
Dunkin'.
huh?
You get Dunkin' everywhere.
Yeah, it's Dunkin'.
Mm-hmm. It tastes
And
better.
to find we have Starbucks gift cards.
Oh, okay.
We have Verizon, and Verizon does what's called Verizon Up, and every month you get to pick a reward for paying on time. And I just cash ours in for $5 Starbucks cards, and I just on
Do
the
they not
app.
have Dunkin' cards?
They do not have Dunkin' cards.
Mm-mm.
It's like Amazon and Barnes and Noble and AMC, other stuff that we won't use, but there's always a $5 Starbucks card. And so in the app, I have my gold card because yes, I am a gold card member for Starbucks. Because Dunkin' isn't a huge thing in the Midwest.
They have an app though.
I will be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. So Christie,
I do too, but I'll let you go first.
oh, thank you. I will be right back.
All right. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but here I am. Hey, look, I still have Christmas wrapping paper right behind me. Right there. Right there. That's Christmas wrapping paper. I forgot to put it in the garage. I guess while she's in the bathroom, we can finish talking about coffee, maybe. Yeah, there are Starbucks in the South, but more Dunkin' than Starbucks. Southern people like donuts. I don't. Southern people like donuts. But there's an app. And what she was saying was she stops to get gas. I typically, my mom gave me, yes, my mom gave me a gas card for Shell. So if I'm traveling by myself, like if it's just me, I just use her gas card to get gas. If I'm traveling with my family, I don't. But if it's just me, I do. And she also gave me a Starbucks card that she pays for. So if I'm traveling by myself again, I'll use her Starbucks card instead of going to Dunkin'. But mom helps pay for fun stuff. I don't know what to talk about. I don't have a life. I work. I think I just heard Lena laugh or somebody cough. It wasn't me. Huh. Oh my gosh. Now, if we were doing makeup, I could sit here and do makeup. It snowed. We have snow. We have snow. This is the third snow we've had in 2 weeks. But this time, we were supposed to get 7 inches. We got like 1.5 inches, maybe. The first time it snowed this season, they said like adjusting, and we got 6 inches. And then I don't remember what they said for the second snow, but we got 4 inches. And then this one, they said 7 inches, and we got like 1.5 inches. And Lena's back, sort of. There she is.
Okay, now you can go to the bathroom.
Okay. Actually, I'm just going to get coffee. I'll hold my potty until later.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Honest. That way you're comfy.
Okay.
So, yeah. So what we do with our Verizon Up cards is I put them into the app right away. And then I have my gold card because I'm a gold card member. And that's what we typically will refill every couple months. And then I leave all of the other into a separate card. And I just add it to the app and I'll transfer it to a different card. And then right before we go on vacation, I just transfer that secondary card into the main card. And then it becomes extra Starbucks money for the trip. And so that's what I did before our trip in July. So it was like, we had to go into a town and into a Kroger store to find a Starbucks. And if you didn't know, Kroger is a grocery store. It may be called different things where you are. It could be Fred Meyer, it could be Dillon's, it could be Kroger, it could be there's QFC, it could be 5,000 different underlying grocery stores under the Kroger brand. But 9 times out of 10, if you find a Dillon's or a Kroger or affiliate, there's a Starbucks. And they will take the gift card. You can't redeem points, but you can use your gift card. Hey, Randy. Good morning. We talked about you already.
Good morning, Randy. Yeah, we do have Starbucks in our Krogers and in our Targets. But we also have them. I think it depends on where you're at in the South, because here, I have one we have one right across the street from our Dunkin' here, but then it's also in the same parking lot as a Kroger that has one in there. So we actually, the city I live in has Starbucks everywhere. It only has like 2 or 3 Dunkins.
And you like Dunkin' over Starbucks?
I do, yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's what we do. So when we were driving down to Florida, like we could not find a Starbucks. So that was something that Sam and I are like, okay, we are much better prepared, I think, going into this trip in July than we were last year, because I don't know, last year was, I call it the year of indecision, because we're going on a cruise. No, we're not. We're going over here. Yes, we're not. Like vacation in and of itself was very, very weird.
Well, you had planned a bunch of cruises because you got good deals on them, and then you went on your first cruise and you decided, yeah, we're not doing cruises.
And then we're like, this year, we're like, yeah, we're going to do cruises. And then with all the spikes and people not being able to get off the boats, and then people are having to pay upwards of $500-$600 for COVID tests while on and to get off the boat. I'm like,
why are they paying so much for COVID tests to get on and off the boat?
Because they have to pay over $100 per test on the boat.
I think I would just stay on the boat then.
That's like when they port. When the boats port.
Ridiculous. Because like, do they have to do it every single time, or?
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, I have a lot better things I can do with $600 than, daily mummification.
Well, here's the thing: is COVID tests and the shots, they're free. The government pays the distribution company to send these products, even pays for their shipping to the hospitals, to the clinics, for free.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're charging you for them, there's a problem, because you're supposed to be able to go onto the website, tell them your symptoms, and then they say, oh, here's your free test.
We're really lucky that our school district, because we do it for the whole community, they're like, if you are a parent of a student that goes to school, well, 9 times out of 10, you're a parent or a guardian of a student that goes to the school. So pretty much everyone can come in and get a test for free. And so we got a big, huge grant, and we have boxes of the tests at school. Like, I had to get tested twice on Friday because that was Thursday. We found out one of the other paras had tested positive. Now, my question is, why was she allowed to come to work? Because she had already told them that her spouse had tested positive on Monday. And no one, if one person in your house tests positive, new school guidelines say that everyone has to stay home for the duration and test. So why she was allowed to come to work, I don't know. But then she tested positive on Thursday, and I tested, and another para got tested, and then and we both tested negative. Well, and then so later in the afternoon, I got moved into working in pre-K, and I got a phone. They're like, "Hey, Leslie, is Lena in the room?" I'm like, yeah. Can you have her come to the phone? I'm going, what have I done? I've been sitting here playing with blocks. I cannot be in trouble. They're like, hey, would you mind coming down and retesting? We looked at yours again, and it looks inconclusive. Are you kidding me? Said, okay, that's fine. So I said, I have to go down to the nurse. I will be back. So I already had a mask on anyway. So I went down to the office, and they swabbed, and they're like, yeah, we looked at it again, and we weren't quite sure if that was like, we were just inconclusive. So we wanted you to test again. Fine. So I did a second test, and it was negative. But I mean, I was happy that they did because I kind of had been having a sore throat and runny nose and several of the other symptoms, but I think it's just it's mainly seasonal allergies.
The weather, yeah. I have like a scratchy throat and stuffy nose.
Mm-hmm. And
And
Randy
a
says,
slight cough, but that's the drainage.
yeah,
It just
exactly.
seems like
And like you're like, do I? You have all the symptoms on. Is it COVID? Is it not? Is it
yeah,
allergies? Is it the flu? What do you have?
for me, I'm like, I still have taste, I still have smell. It's
Yeah,
probably just a cold.
yeah.
And plus,
Randy,
I stay in the house most of the time. I mean, my kids go to school, but they wear masks, and I stay in the house most of the time. So,
Randy says we had 5 positive cases at work, so we have to wear masks at work again. The middle school and high school have reached. They say if when we reach 5% per building. So if the high school reaches 5%, they have to wear masks for I think it's a 2-week time period. So on Friday, both the middle school and high school reached 5%, and we got an email from our principal saying, make sure you bring a mask on Tuesday because I can almost guarantee at some point next week we're going to hit 5% again.
um,
Which is fine because I've been wearing my mask at school anyway because kids are gross.
well, they had meetings over the holiday break, and kids are required to wear masks at school again. But mine always did. I didn't let them not because they're not vaccinated. But they're required to at the school. And my coworker, she has it, and then like 5 people my husband works with has it, but we work from home. So.
Oh no, Christy coughed.
She's dying. She's got COVID.
Just to be clear, Christy does not have COVID. But yeah, so
I don't think so. I mean, I got a headache. I got sinus drainage and a sore throat from the sinus drainage, but I think we're good.
All right. I mean, Christy's over here going, I've got this symptom. Can you catch it through the computer?
Oh my gosh. Right when COVID came out, anytime I was in the grocery store, I mean, before lockdown and stuff, and I had my mask on, and anytime someone came near me, I would be like, just to get them to go away, because people are rude. They'll like stick their hands right up in your face.
Randy?
Putting my mask on the coffee corner.
You might want to. Apparently, Christy's contagious over here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But it's been like, we were so used to wearing them. I wore them at school. I would wear them, and then I would take a couple days like to not, because it does affect my asthma a little bit, especially with the heat, the dry heat in the school.
Mm-hmm.
But we wore them in Florida, and we were so accustomed to wearing them when we go in places. Like, we've just been wearing them when we go into stores, and people are like, I had somebody come up to me yesterday at the mall and go, you realize that there's no longer a mask mandate? And I went, I'm aware. And they're like, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And I said, I'm aware. I said, I'm wearing it because I work in a school with kids. And they're like, oh, well,
like it was any of their business.
You're part of the problem. And I went, okay.
What makes you part of the problem?
I don't know. Like,
I don't understand.
I was just kind of looked at him like, okay.
Oh, like, I'm not part of the problem. You're part of the problem because you're walking around possibly infecting others. Whereas right. I'm wearing a mask to protect you.
Randy, stay well, Christy. Don't end up like your picture when you go off from being live.
This one.
We call this Christy's death picture.
That's gummy worms in my hair.
With gummy worms in her hair. Christy cracks me up. Okay, come back alive again.
Marty Wayne, the photographer, is the one that took that picture.
For those of you who didn't know, Christy used to model.
I did. Years ago.
Oh, did it? You were not. I lost 4.2 pounds last week.
Nice. I need to lose some weight. I've gained like 5 pounds over the
You can
holidays.
afford it.
Oh no, I really can't. I put a dress on today to go take pictures outside, and I was like, "Oh, this is a little snug." We have snow, I like to take pictures in the snow.
Yeah, our big, huge snowstorm, what consisted of maybe an inch, and when you drove at night, it looked like you were going through hyperspace.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to get 7 inches. It's so funny because we've gotten snow 3 times in the past 2 weeks. The first time we were supposed to get in dusting, we got 6 inches. The second time, I don't remember how much they said, but we got 4 inches. This time we were supposed to get 7 inches, and there's like maybe an inch and a half.
Ours already is even though it's currently 27 degrees, ours is already all melted.
Oh yeah, ours isn't.
But it warmed up a lot yesterday, because like when Sam and I got up yesterday, I tried my hand at making overnight oats for the first time. I had some while okay. Side note: if you go to Universal, the place you have to eat is the Today Cafe. Phenomenal food, huge portions, great pricing.
Where's it at Universal?
It is right there, like right when you come in. It's right there on the corner before you either go forward to Minions or take a left onto Hollywood Boulevard.
The Universal proper? Okay.
Yeah. It's right there. It's so good, and they have a ton of options. And
I've eaten there when it was named something else.
Yeah, they remodeled it, and sometimes they'll have a taxi cab in front of it. And Al Roker actually helped open it. I watched the live stream, I think last year, because it opened after I was there in 2020, because it was still like all like covered when I was there in November 2020. It opened earlier in 2021. Like Sam and I were thinking, we ordered a ham sandwich, or he ordered a breakfast sandwich with ham, and we thought it would be a small square like Starbucks. It was about yay long. It was like a 6-inch sandwich.
A 6-inch sub? Okay.
Yeah. And I got the egg whites Florentine sandwich, and it was the same way. So we ended up doing halvesies. But I got they have overnight oats, and they're completely vegan.
Nice.
And let me see if I can find it. Let me see if it's still on my phone, or because I'm still working through my photos and getting videos uploaded. So some stuff is still on my phone.
Overnight oats bother my stomach. I can't ever eat them.
Okay,
but they're good.
So here is the picture.
I've had overnight oats before. It looks so good.
It was so good, and
I think it was not Hello Fresh, but do you remember? Probably not. This was like 2 years ago. A company that does, ships you food and stuff, reached out to me, and they sent me free, like fruit bowls and things like that. You stick in your freezer, you just take out and heat in the microwave, or overnight oats or whatever. They sent me some overnight oats, and they were good. They were really good, but they give me a stomach ache. I think it's just the oats in general.
If you see the little green thing right here, anything at Universal with that symbol is vegan. And so this one had oatmeal, almond milk, agave syrup, chia seeds, strawberries, blueberries, shredded coconut, and almonds. And they make them fresh daily. So, and the bowl was about this big around and about that deep. It was a big serving. Like, typically a lot of people complain that theme park food is in really small quantities. This was a lot of food. And so I had wanted to try overnight oats before, but I was nervous if I made it, I wouldn't like it. And I expressed it to Sam before I got it, because it was like $10. And Sam's like, if you don't like it, we'll get something else. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, okay. So I got it, and I absolutely adored it. And so, of course, then I'm scrolling through TikTok, and I find overnight oat recipes. And so they were really easy to make. It was 1/3 of a cup of old-fashioned oats, half a cup of milk. You can use any milk you want. So I used unsweetened almond milk. 1 tablespoon of sugar-free pudding mix, and I used cheesecake, and then whatever toppings you wanted. And so Dylan's had their during their holiday sales, they had like buy 2 get 1 free on like baking chips and all that kind of stuff. So I have tons of chocolate chips in my cabinet, which is great for someone trying to lose weight. And it called for 1/3 of a cup of the type of chips that like baking chips you wanted. So I put butterscotch in, and Sam said he loved them. And he took I made 2 because I wasn't sure how they were going to taste, and they turned out really good. So I'm going to make those every once in a while for us to like rotate into our breakfasts.
So I have a question. These people that say there's not much food at the parks, when their serving size is small, who are these people? Every time I've ever eaten there, I've gotten so much. But again, here's my eating places when I go to the parks. Well, for one, the stand that does the like, oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of
crepes?
Crepes. The crepe stand, those freaking things are huge.
It wasn't open, or when it was open, the line was like, it was like the Figment popcorn bucket.
The crepe stand opens at 11 o'clock. You have to get in line at about 10:45 because it starts filling up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, what I typically do is I go stand in the line at the crepe place, get my crepe, and then go straight over to the pass holder lounge so that I can get whatever the pass holder stuff is. So I eat there. And the only other places I've eaten in Universal, aside from Halloween Horror Nights and getting their snacks, which the snacks obviously are snackable sizes, not meal sizes,
right?
Is in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. At any of those places, they give you so much food you can't even eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm just eating at the right places, whereas other people are eating at the wrong places.
We ate at Today Cafe. And we tried to eat at a new place every time. We did eat at Today Cafe 3 times, twice for breakfast and once for lunch, but we did get different things each time we were there. We ate at Mel's Diner, and Sam got the double bacon cheeseburger, and I got the grilled chicken sandwich, and oh my gosh, that thing was phenomenal. Sam and I a lot of the times did halvesies on stuff so that we could both eat, like, so he could try my chicken sandwich and whatnot. And he's like, that's a really good chicken sandwich. And I'm like, I hadn't tried it yet. I was eating some fries, and I'm like, oh, good. And I put some mayo on it, and I was like, I know a lot of people when it comes to theme park food, they think pizza and burgers and chicken nuggets. You can, if you look, there's so much outside of that for food. Sam got a Chinese chicken salad at the Today Cafe. It was really funny. The day that we ate there, they had ran out of forks. There was a lot of supply issues. So there were days when they would say, sorry, we're out of straws. Sorry, we're out of lids today. Sorry, we're out of forks. So Sam ate a salad with a spoon. It was pretty entertaining. At one point, he turned the spoon upside down and was jabbing the handle into the salad. I'm like, okay, note to self, invest in some reusable silverware for our July trip.
Yes. So that is always a good idea. I have, it's a little plastic container. It's about this big.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a fork, a knife, and a spoon in it. And they're plastics. They come apart so they fit in that container. And then you just snap them together. And that's a perfect thing to take in the park because it's super light. It's plastic. And then I also have the silicone straws.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never without those. And I just put the silicone straws in a Ziploc bag and shove them in there.
Sam and I were talking because we're going to Flower and Garden. And so we were talking about the fact that when we were there, they the like the silverware dispensers, like maybe they were out of a fork or a knife or a spoon, or some of them were completely empty. And the cast members were trying their hardest to keep up with it. They were doing a phenomenal job. So I was scrolling through and I was thinking, I said something about, we were watching Tim and Jen, the trackers from a couple years ago for Flower and Garden. And Sam goes, why are their silverware green? And I went, oh, because they have reusable silverware. And he goes, they have what? So I went on to Amazon and we found this. It is a 8-piece utensil set, and it's got a case, a carrying case. It's got a spoon, a knife, and a fork. It's got chopsticks. It's got 2 different straws, a straight one and a curved one, and a cleaner, and they're $11 a piece. And so Sam and I are going to be purchasing a couple sets of those. They have different colors and stuff for our trip in July, so that we always have silverware.
It's a good idea.
And yes, paper straws are ugh.
Paper straws are
Something to note, if you like
the sugar cane straws, though, they don't dissolve like others do.
Really?
Yeah, they're the like kind of brown looking ones that have texture in them, and they're called sugar cane straws. But I mean, they don't dissolve. They don't taste like sugar, so I don't know why they're called that.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of places have those.
Okay,
and that they're better for you than the paper ones.
Yeah, we what we ended up doing is when we got a drink, because we actually didn't. We went to Starbucks one day, and I'll show you what I got. I got the Starbucks 50th anniversary tumbler. On one side,
pink one,
and it says Walt Disney World 50 on it, and this was $50.
That's insane.
It is insane. But we had purchased a $100 Starbucks card, and thinking that we were going to use it at City Walk or at whatnot, and we weren't using it. And Sam's like, if you want that cup, go in and get it. I'm like, I don't want to spend $50 on it. And he's like, you can use the Starbucks gift card, like, in that really slow way, like, think about it for a second. And I'm like, they won't accept that for payment. He goes, just try. If they don't, we will just pay for it.
They definitely accept it for payment.
They accepted it. And we still have, I want to say, $40 in our Starbucks card. 45, sorry, on our Starbucks card. And I actually got stars for that purchase.
Yeah, you do.
I was like, whoa, okay. So that's something that Sam and I'm putting, like, something that's different between the Starbucks, like in the theme parks, and the Starbucks. Like, all the Universal resorts have a Starbucks in them. And at first I was like, oh, it's going to be kind of like Barnes & Noble. You can't use your gift card there. And the manager said, oh, no, these are actual Starbucks stores inside of the resort. You can use a gift card Universal? There.
Yeah.
You can buy a gift card there, and you can redeem stars there. It is a Starbucks store inside of the resort.
Yeah.
They will actually show up on the app. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, I asked me, I said, so how many times do you have people come in just to get Starbucks? She goes, it happens, not a lot, but it does happen. It'll pop up on like the app, and people will come in and be like, I'm just here to get Starbucks.
My guess is the reason why those is because they're not owned by the resorts aren't owned by Universal. They're owned by Lowe's.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they were. Here's the other thing. You know how you said you didn't use your Starbucks cards at the parks like you anticipated? It's because those lines are always so long.
Yeah. That is very true. The Starbucks and whether it was at Disney, whether it was at Universal, whether it was at the resort, whether it was in City Walk, the lines were always so long. The one time that the line wasn't super long, and I guess it was longer, but I was willing to wait. When we left, I think I had a sinus infection with a little bit of bronchitis. And so I was coughing. I was pretty sick when we left. Not uber sick, but a little sick. And Sam, literally a 5 minute, I think Sam said that it was maybe a 7-minute walk from our resort. There on the corner is a Walgreens, like right across the corner from the Endless Summer Resorts. So Sam walked over, he got a case of water, and he picked up like some meds and extra Kleenex and some more cough drops and just like some things to help. And I got in line and I got a peppermint tea, and I took it upstairs to our room and was trying to breathe. I told Sam, he's like, "You're going to come home sicker than you were." And I said, "No, last time I went down there in November of 2020 and I wasn't feeling great. I was kind of had a head cold. 3 days down there, I was completely fine." Same thing. About 4 days into the trip, I was fine. Then we come back and I'm all congested again. Randy says it's an e-learning day for the kids, but wife's retail job says come in if you can. Retail never quits.
No, they don't.
Nope, they don't. Today is it's a teachers in service day, and paras and TAs don't come in. I'm actually really lucky because some of the other paras and TAs still have Infinitex to work on, which Infinitex are online training videos. My schedule has changed really dramatically from last year, before Christmas to now. One of my students moved over Christmas break, wasn't aware that he was moving, just was told that he was going to go visit dad. And then mom subbed for me 2 of the 3 days. One of the days what ended up being a snow day. But mom sends me a text message and said on Friday, the Friday that we were still in Florida, mom sends me a text and goes, "You need to go in and talk to Deb when you get to school on Monday." And I'm like, wait a minute, I've been on vacation. Why am I have to go in and talk to the secretary? And mom's like, just go in and talk to Deb. So of course, for 3 days, I'm sitting here going, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? So as soon as I get off the bus, I go in, I go, Mom says I'm supposed to talk to you. And Deb kind of looks at me and goes, what? She goes, Mom said you told her something on Friday. She couldn't tell me and that I was supposed to come talk to you. She goes, oh, right. Your so-and-so student moved. Repeat that? So she's like, yeah, apparently students staying with dad. Okay. So also on that same Friday, I'd gotten a text from my supervising teacher saying, hey, we're moving your break from 8:30 to 9 instead of 9 to 9:30 because Justin, who's a school principal, came in and asked if we had a para that could do something. I don't know what it is, but I said that you could move your break. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he was at a Board of Education meeting, and I finally was able to track him down like at 8:45. And he's like, yeah, from 9 to 9:40, you're going to be in first grade with a student. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. So it's actually a lot of fun. We read a book called Why I Was Late for School. And they talk about how the frogs were harvesting gumdrops out of the gumdrop tree. And the kids are like, what's a gumdrop? So the teacher brought gumdrops, and we got gumdrops in first grade. I'm like, I like first grade. They don't talk back. Randy said e-learning tomorrow, out for Martin Luther King Day here. Going to be sunny all day, so should clear the roads. Yeah, and it's probably why. I guess I forgot it was Martin Luther. We're typically not out for Martin Luther King Day. It just happened to be when professional development was for the teachers. But anyway, so last week I'm normally with the student that moved from 1:15 to 3:10. 3:10 is when I leave to go change to do my bus route. Well, because that student's not there anymore, I looked at my supervising teacher and I go, what am I going to do? And she's like, well, I talked with another teacher and we decided to leave your schedule in the afternoon open for a couple weeks just in case this move with dad doesn't work and he comes back. We don't want you to be with another student and then turn around and have to change schedules again. And I'm like, okay, that 100% makes sense. She's like, so do you have your Infinitex done? And I go, I don't know. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 left. I actually had 6. They had actually added a couple more. And so I got logged in and I'm like, okay, they're not showing up. And so she emailed the supervisor, which is actually her mom as well. And she sent me an email of what I still needed to accomplish. And I got them done. I got the last one done on Friday. And I get to sit here and not have to worry about them while other staff members are working on those at home without pay. So I'm like, yes. I just knocked them out in the afternoons. I'm like, okay, let's go. They were really long ones too. Like all of the videos were at least 40 minutes to an hour. And one of the things was that they said at the beginning of the year, we don't want you doing these at home. And we're like, another parent and I are like, well, then when are we supposed to get them done? Because we don't have the 2 hours of downtime during the course of the day that other people have. We're one-on-ones. We have students that if we aren't there, they're having a meltdown. And so it was kind of a nice break to do my new morning routine, do lunch duty, and then go in and get these trainings out of the way. And I just thought, I was like, oh, I bet they're doing those today. Sorry, guys. Because we can't even put in for training pay for them because they're supposed to be done during the school day. But they're like, if you don't have them done, you could work on them during this time frame.
Creating a new one of these.
Okay, so in the last half an hour, it has dropped 2 degrees. So has anyone else noticed that, like, when the sun rises, it actually drops temperature and then goes back up again?
Oh, I don't pay attention. Not close enough anyway.
Sam was like, so are you going to sleep in? And I go, yeah, I'm going to sleep in. I probably won't get up until like 9 or 10. And Sam's like, oh, okay. And then I was laying in bed, scrolling through TikTok, and I went, did I schedule a coffee corner for today? Oh, crud, it's in 20 minutes. Christie, here's the link. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do that. I will say that I'm a lot colder than I like. People are like, okay, it must be cold. Lena's got like a sweater on, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I went from like 80 degrees to 30.
I'm actually kind of hot right now.
Leave me alone, people.
I got a Smoky Mountain Moonshine hoodie on.
I see that. Where'd you get that?
Old Smoky in Pigeon Forge. I had to think. They have one in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge.
So you said you have a dead day today?
Well, okay, so it's a holiday. And my corporate company is off.
Okay.
When I report to corporate, but because they closed our location, our reporting location, like the location it says we're affiliated with, is our closest warehouse, which is in Memphis. So our work days and PTO days coordinate with the warehouse instead of the corporate office. So today is a work day for the warehouse. And that means since my location is the warehouse now, my work day is affiliated with the warehouse. So I could take the day off as a floating PTO holiday. Floating holiday is what they call it. So what that means is like anyone that works in the warehouse, they have to work the holidays, but they get floating holidays that they can take off either on the holiday or another day whenever they want, because the corporate has those days off and gets paid for them.
Okay.
So for me, I use my floating holidays just whenever. If it's not, like if it's the day before Thanksgiving, I use it, of course.
Right.
But, or Thanksgiving or whatever. But for like holidays like this that are technically a holiday for the corporate office, which I report to, I don't. So the corporate office is off today. So there's not a whole lot for me to do. I'm actually doing my employee's work right now because she is out sick with COVID. So I'm doing her job. And she's got stuff to do.
Okay.
Hi, server girl.
Hey, server girl.
Yes, Randy, I can. I will say that Dollywood day tickets, like tickets for the theme park, are not commissionable. However, the resort is. And I'm not sure why. Because Disney and Universal are, but I think it's because they have more parks.
Mm-hmm.
And a theme park is not really considered travel unless you're booking many days. Like at Universal, you have to book 2 or more, and at Disney, you had to book 3 or more in order to get in order for it to be commissionable for the park tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And since Dollywood only has 2 parks and one's a water park, I don't think they allow the park tickets to be commissionable, but the resort is. So yes, I can book it. The only part that's commissionable is the resort stay, and any rental cars or anything like that.
They're talking Pigeon Forge area for Disney for spring break. If we do the Disneyland thing, I'll keep you posted. Yeah, do that. Otherwise, she might hurt me.
Yeah,
she might throw that cup of coffee at me. So just
not this cup. I just spilled it. Not this cup. It's the 50th anniversary.
I said the coffee at me.
Yeah, there's a potential for that.
Save me, Randy. I got you your marathon stuff. I actually got to meet Randy briefly. Not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. Think that would have been the 7th, the 8th. I had went to the expo on opening day, and Randy wasn't going to get there. Already might get us sick. No violence. Okay, speaking of that, I'm going to fall out of this chair. So we got to Universal, and I was like, oh, I have some socks stuffed in my tennis shoes. I'm fine. I go to put on said socks, and my toe goes through the end of them.
I have some socks that get.
I had to go to the running store in Disney Springs and buy socks. $20 for a pair of socks.
Running socks are expensive,
but they have this
the tab that's to protect the heel. So
blisters. Oh my gosh, they're so comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And then they've also got a cinch in the center of the foot, right?
Yes, because they're really tight around they're kind of tight around the middle of my foot.
Yeah, running socks are expensive for sure.
They are expensive, but I will tell you that I already told Sam when we go back in July, I'm picking up another couple pair. I didn't know if I'd like them or not, and especially after I found out they were $20. They had a deal where they were buy 3 get 1 free, and I'm really mad that I didn't buy 2 more pair. But I do plan to get some more of them while we're down there. My feet are cold, so I was grabbing them to put on. Like, did you get stance? That's my favorite. What's stance? I'm very confused.
A stance is a brand of sock.
Oh no, they are features, Feetures. They're from the Fit to Run store in Disney Springs. I did that at Star Wars store because my socks got wet and I was on my last pay for the trip. Paid $15 one pair, but the warm and dry was worth it. I didn't know there was a stance sock store at Disney Springs. I was kind of interested in the running store to see what size up of running tanks that they had. So I just grabbed them there.
Yeah, stance socks are guaranteed for life. They're really high-end, nice socks.
I may have to check that out too while I'm down there in July and see if I can. I'll have to look. I will look. I promise. I am absolutely frozen this morning, and maybe I'm dying. I don't know.
I'm burning out. I probably should have. Like, I almost put my tank top on to go with these leggings, and I was like, no, I think I'm gonna put a hoodie on. It's snowy outside. Should have put a tank top on.
Well, go put the tank on and come back.
Nah.
I've got a couple pair of features, good quality, local running stores around should have features. I don't know if there are running stores around here. Like, I'm not athletic, but I guess now I can say I'm an athlete because I've completed a 5K.
Do you have a good feet store?
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. Walmart is where I buy my socks.
Oh, I go to either Good Feet store or Dick's Sporting Goods. Rack Room Shoes might. Nah, Rack Room.
We have a Dick's.
I don't think Rack Room would have it. Finish Line might. Finish Line might. Champs might.
I don't know what that is.
They're shoe stores.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods should have it. And then
we do have a Good Feet store. The closest one is an hour in Wichita. And then after that, it's Oklahoma City.
She said, server girl said her husband thought she was crazy for paying $20 for socks. I will tell you, I'm particular about my socks too, because anytime I get the ones, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get these. They're cheaper, and I can't stand them. The good quality ones are the best, especially if you're going to be walking or running a lot.
Mm-hmm. I was so glad that I had these for the 5K. I think they helped protect my foot when I got injured by the runner. See, they told us.
Oh, Academy Sports. Academy
Sports. We have one of those. I got my shoes at Famous Footwear. They're New Balance. I don't have any problems with New Balance. I've had the same pair for 2019. And I don't wear them that often because I'm typically in sandals. So I run around in sandals. Like, I have to be an adult and wear tennis shoes in the 20-degree weather at school. But other than that, I run around in sandals. So my tennis shoes don't get a whole lot of wear. So I'm able to wear them longer.
Gosh, I'm blank now. Oh, I prefer either Nike or Brooks for running, walking, either. They do corrals for the 5K.
Yes, probably. They did. Yes, they did. There were 6 of them, and we were in group 5. We started, I think, our fireworks went off, I want to say at 5:30, and we got to mile 1 at about 49 minutes since the first people stepped off. So we ended up we only stopped for one photo, which hasn't appeared in my photos yet. I'll have to call about that. But they actually, by the time we got to the character lines, they had actually cut off the lines because the characters didn't end up coming out till 5:30, and the lines were over an hour for the characters, and they had cut them off and said, "Sorry, you can't get in the lines." They had Pinocchio, Abu, Lumiere, and Cogsworth. I was really mad about that one. I wanted that picture so bad. They wouldn't even let you take a selfie. Like, you had to just keep going. But I got a quick shot of just them. Then they had Sadness and Joy, and I think that was it. But yeah, they did. We were in Corral 5, which I was like, I thought we were in the last corral until somebody said, oh yeah, we're in Corral 6 for the 5K. And I'm like, oh, we're not in the last corral. I'm pretty excited about that.
I don't mind being in the last one.
We ended up finishing, Sam estimates, at about 55 minutes. And there were a lot of people still in line for the characters. So I felt good that I wasn't the last one to finish.
Well, I mean, also, like, if you're stopping for pictures, which I would too, you're not really worried about your time.
My whole goal was to finish the thing. And after that, I say that I wish I had stopped for pictures now, but we stopped for the one in front of Radiator Springs. Like, it was kind of a welcome to Radiator Springs setup. And trying to get going again after that stop was really hard. And I told Sam, if I stop, there's no way I'm starting again. I can't. If I don't stop moving, I won't be able to finish this. So Sam was like, okay. Well, and then going back to getting injured, they had told, like, in all of the groups that I'm in, they're like, if you're walking, stay to the right. The runners will be on the left. We couldn't be any more to the right. We were right by the cones. And this guy comes up from behind us, and he's weaving in and out of the cones, weaving in and out of people, literally runs over my foot. There was probably 20 of us in groups of 2 walking. He turns on and yells at me to get out of his way. And I'm like, I'm in where I'm supposed to be. I'm walking. And he goes, you guys all need to either run or not be here. You're ruining it for the rest of us. And I'm like, I almost started to cry. And there was a lady in front of me who was doing it. She goes, excuse me? This is a family 5K. You do not have to run it, nor will I run it. I'm running for the next 3 mornings. Not happening. And she turned around to me and goes, you're doing just fine, honey. Keep going. Are you okay? My foot was actually kind of black and blue. He stomped my foot as he went across it.
I probably would have punched him.
And then my hips hurt so bad. We got back to the room. We had breakfast. I was so out of it. I put in our breakfast order for the wrong resort for mobile order. But I guess that happens a lot. They refunded it and I put in the order, and Sam came back, brought it back. We ate and went to sleep. We went to Chef Mickey's and had lunch. And you can't stand up to get pictures. So all of the pictures with the medals is Sam with his medal because they were behind him. And afterwards I go, after we got one round of pictures, we should have switched spots. We were tired. We weren't thinking.
I've never eaten at Chef Mickey's. When I used to use a travel agent before I became one, he would always say, Chef Mickey's really popular. You should eat there. But at the same time, I've eaten at several different of the buffets, the character ones, and I'm just not crazy about buffets. But then he was like, well, most people like it for their breakfast. And I was like, oh, I'm not a breakfast food person.
It's now served family style. So they bring you out everything, whether you want it or not, which I wasn't a big fan of because typically we'll ask for a table for 4, especially at that way we have room. And they're like, sorry, we can't do that. We have to give you a table of 2. And they're like, why is your stuff taking up so much room? And I'm like, it's my plate. I don't exactly know where I'm supposed to put it other than on the table. I'm like, you must be friends with the guy who ran over my foot. Why is everyone yelling at me today?
I like Ohana too. That one's family style.
Oh, we had a horrible experience at Ohana. It was our last night, and the meat, like when we told them we didn't want any shrimp, they brought us shrimp anyway, which was starting to make me nauseous.
They do that.
And
if you would have said you're allergic to shellfish, they would.
I did.
Oh.
So they sat it by Sam. But then the beef came out and it was very pink. It was okay for Sam, but I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm
well,
like,
you can also tell them I want it well done.
I did. They charred it. It was, you couldn't even almost cut it. And then when they brought the chicken out, I'm like, okay, great, there's chicken. It was still bloody in the center.
Oh, don't eat anything in the chicken.
They tried the waiter tried to say, well, that's how it's served. And I went, that's raw chicken. That's foodborne illness.
Yeah, are you trying to poison me?
And he went over and got the manager, and then he took his the manager's like, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll make sure that they cook it better. And I said, it needs cooked. I mean, better means cooked. I said, it's chicken. They give us a 10% discount.
Oh, they should have done it, given it to you for free.
Like, Sam's like, do you need to eat something when we get back to the room? I'm like, I think I have apples. I'm good. It was not worth what we spent on it.
I never had a bad experience there, but I will say the last time we went, food quality wasn't as good as it had been in the past.
I will agree with that. The last time that we went to Trader Sam's and we had their Kahlua pork tacos.
That sounds really good.
They are phenomenal. And Sam has been talking about these tacos since we left. And when I went in September, he's like, you're going to go get tacos and send me pictures. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not that cruel. I'm not going to do that to you. And I didn't, mainly because I was having massive panic attacks and in my room 90% of the time. So on one of our off days, we went to the Poly, and to sit inside of Trader Sam's was like an hour and some odd wait. And we're like, no. So we went to the back patio, which is the Trader Sam's patio, and we ordered them, and they were still so good. They were just as good as when we were there before. Highly recommend them. They come 3 on a little tray, and this Kahlua pork with their coleslaw and 1 little thin jalapeno slice on top. They are so good. Now, Garden Grill, I ate there in September, and I told Sam how good it was, and we ate there the day after the 5K. And I had a phenomenal waiter in September, really nice, took time to point out hidden Mickeys and all that kind of stuff. The lady that we had this last time was like, why are you here? And don't you know this is a character meal? And I'm like, if you can't be happy and enjoy the magic, maybe you need a different job.
Why would the waiter want to know why you were there?
Yeah, we were like, we're eating lunch. Like, this is a character meal. Yeah. And the food was okay. It wasn't as good as it was in September. And part of it could be the service. It could have been the service too.
I mean, service makes a big difference.
It does.
If your service isn't good, even if the food is good, it makes the food less tasty.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's a whole mood thing.
It is. Really. 100%. I think Sam was really excited. We got a date, and this is something that I have as a travel tip coming up as a video. But if you can't get a dining reservation that you want at 60 days out, start checking about 2 days out. Check day of. We got a Whispering Canyon for day of. And that is one of Sam's favorite places to eat. They still have a lot of the antics. They don't do the ketchup anymore because they don't want people going to different people's tables. But they brought a tray that was just little cups of ketchup. It was funny. Somebody order, one of my friends, her name's Gina. They always do breakfast at Whispering Canyon, and she ordered a Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, and they brought it to her in a half-gallon jar. She's like, "That's a lot of Diet Coke. I'm on board for this." Yeah, Karina says, maybe the waiter is the guy that stepped on my foot. Maybe. But Ohana probably isn't someone we would eat again. And they're like, we probably aren't going to be bringing the skewers back. It takes too much time for the waiters to walk around with it. This way they can just bring 4 of them out and put them on. I said, yeah, but stuff isn't getting cooked this way. And the man just kind of blinked his eyes at me like, I don't know how to respond to you. I mean, when your chicken's still kind of bloody, I don't know what to tell ya.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my husband's favorite places to eat. But like I said, the last time we were there, it was still good, but it wasn't as good as it was the past times we've gone.
Okay, so here, question for you, Christie. If you had been at Flower and Garden the day that the Figment popcorn buckets came out, would you have gotten in line for one?
No, because I saw that the lines were like 6 hours long. So no. I mean, I would like the Figment popcorn bucket, but I'm not going to stand in a really long line to get it. That's the other thing. It was like the day, October 1st, I was at Disney and I was headed to the gift shop to get in line to get in there. And the line was really, really long. I was like, no, I'm not standing in that. So I was with Crystal and Bryson from For Love of the Mouse that day. And they asked me, did you go in? I'm like, no, the line was long. They're like, yeah, it went through pretty fast. I was like, yeah, I don't like long lines. And they laughed at me, but they had me go in there anyway later that day. And the line wasn't long at all. We just popped right in and I bought things. So to me, I'm not going to stand in a really long line to get something. If it sells out, it sells out. I didn't need it in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just me. Like,
yeah,
that's how I am. And plus, you can, for the popcorn buckets, they restock those. That's something they always restock. So even if it sells out, and I even checked on eBay, they're going for like $250 a piece.
There's one that was up to 1,000.
They're going to restock those before the end of the festival.
They are 100%. There are people who are selling the popcorn out of them because they were giving you like a bag of multicolored popcorn with them. Mm-hmm. They ran out of the popcorn, so they started putting in the Figment spoons.
Yeah, that's the popcorn buckets are always something they restock. And I have a feeling there's a couple of Spirit jerseys that's already sold out too that I want. I have a feeling those will get restocked before the end of the 50th anniversary.
100%.
So I'm not going to go spend $200 on a Spirit jersey that may get restocked. And then if you think about it too, is like after the rush of all the 50th anniversary stuff, mm-hmm. once it's no longer in high demand, those prices will drop to maybe $10 more than what they purchased them for.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. 100%.
Did you see Randy's comment? Maybe the waiter was the one.
I did. I saw that. I was like, yeah, maybe.
It's funny.
Maybe.
Well, I don't have to put this on there.
I was just like, when we were there, we would like check the app and see, oh, well, this ride line is this long and this ride line is this long. Sam and I were like, okay, because we had talked about buying Lightning Lane, and I think we're going to try it one day when we're down there in July.
I would just do it for Magic Kingdom. Everything I've read and heard is that it's pointless at the other parks.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try it at Magic Kingdom on one of our days there. But like, for instance, the Haunted Mansion line, it said it was 75 minutes, and Sam's like, "Well, we really aren't doing anything. If you want to ride Haunted Mansion, we'll stand in line, no big deal." And I'm like, okay. And I should have looked at my watch to see what time it was when we got in line. It was not 75 minutes. And several other people who were there during at the same time were like, they were saying that the lines were X long, but they were actually only about half that length.
My guess on that is that they guesstimate the wait time because of the lightning lane.
Yeah, that could be.
And they over guesstimate it or estimate it. I'm going to say guess because they're guessing because it's still fairly new.
Yeah.
But they would rather have a too long of a wait posted rather than too short of a wait posted.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But it was actually really nice. We talked to several other people in line. We talked, like, somebody was like, they're like, oh, they can't. One of the ladies like, oh, well, this person can't get off their phone. I was reading and I went, I'm reading a book. She's like, very, very likely. And I turned on my phone and I went, she goes, oh, well, I guess that's something productive to do in line.
Well, so another thing is like they have games on the app.
Do.
For
they do. And one lady's like, well, you can tell they're a Disney adult. They don't have kids. And I went, I'm 3. And Sam's like, I'm 4. And the lady kind of looked at us and the kids kind of were like, you're weird. And they like backed up. It was nice. I completed 18 books while we were on vacation.
Oh my gosh.
That was literally from just standing in line.
I always take pictures while I'm standing in line because you get different perspectives in the lines.
The line for Haunted Mansion I really liked. It went so if you're walking up to Haunted Mansion, there's like kind of that overhang right over here, like right as you're walking up. They had it back and forth in there. Then they had it go down a ramp like you were going down to get on the boat, walked off and come back up through that little overhang and then up back and forth.
You get really good water reflection pictures in that area of like Big Thunder and Haunted Mansion.
We were talking to a family in front of us. They're like, there's a lot more people here than we thought there was going to be. People are saying that the week after Christmas is a really low time to go. And they were just talking to themselves and I went, excuse me, who told you that? They're like, oh, one of our friends, she's a travel agent. And I went, oh? She goes, oh yeah, she's really good. And I go, did she tell you that this is a run weekend? And the lady looks at me and goes, what? I go, yeah, this is the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, and there's thousands of people headed to the parks. And then she went, our agent didn't tell us anything about that. So she shot off a text message, and a little bit later, she goes, my friend just said there's no such thing as run weekends at Disney. And I pulled up the website and showed her, and she went, I go, I would ask who your friend's travel agency is through because she needs to do some retraining. Because if you don't know that there's run weekends, you're going to make your clients very unhappy. Yes, all TAs are not the same. Some threaten you.
I mean, I like to do the research. If I don't know the answer, I try to research it.
So I spent probably the rest of the time, she was like, so she was asking me random questions, and some of them I was like, yeah, that would definitely, like, yeah, I was like, oh no. She said that, she's like, our kids are already really tired of pizza, burgers, and chicken nuggets. And I said, have you had Mexican yet? She goes, Mexican? Like, we don't want a DoorDash. And I went, Pecos Bill is Mexican food. And she went, really? I went, yeah. I said, there's barbecue at the Wilderness Lodge Resort in the Quick. So she goes, oh, we're not staying there. And I said, you don't have to. She looks at me and goes, our travel agent told us that we had to be staying at a resort to eat there. And I went, I'm thinking, you guys need a new travel agent.
Well, I think that travel agent was probably basing it on strict COVID times, because there was a time period at the parks that you could not go to the resort
That's unless you were staying there. That's
unless
true.
you were staying there or had dinner reservations. So you couldn't do a quick service. The exceptions were, of course, the ones that are linked to boats, monorails, and Skyliners, because you can't really restrict that.
Well, you could hop on a bus to a resort and no one would know the difference either.
Yeah, that's true.
See, we did that. December 30th, we had a rental car because we were doing Night of a Million Lights. I will say, Give Kids the World is off in the boondocks in a pretty scary part of Orlando. Just gonna say. Just saying. But we had walked around Disney Springs, and Sam and I are like, Sam asked me if I wanted to do the tree trail or if I wanted to go check out the resorts and their Christmas decor. And I go, we can do that. So our car was parked in the parking garage. We went and jumped on a bus, I think, to the Grand. And we went to the Grand and we had pictures taken in front of the tree. And the photographers are back to taking pictures with your phone. If you want them to take your photo, it was off limits. We didn't have signal either at Give Kids the World. I don't know how people are live streaming from there unless they've got like a signal booster. There's no signal out there. But the day that we went, they were discounting all the gingerbread. And normally their specialty box was $85. And it was on sale for $50. And they were doing buy one, get one free of gingerbread. And that included what was in the specialty box. So we ended up with 2 shingles, 2 Mickey heads, 2 almond bar. Like, there was like 2 of everything in the box. And they're like, that's $55. And Sam and I are like, thank you. Yes, please.
I don't usually get the gingerbread. I get the other stuff from the gingerbread house, like the chocolate and stuff like that.
Well, they were almost out of everything, which was nice. And then we actually got to see them in the process of scraping all the gingerbread off before they took it all out to the bees.
Here we go.
We were in, and I think I posted a picture of it on Instagram. We were in there just kind of wandering, like we were in there like kind of just taking like a little breather in the lobby on Monday when we didn't have park tickets. And they were working on redoing the floral arrangements, and I was talking to the florist, and he's like, oh yeah, we normally do them at the floral area and bring them in, but this one is so big. I mean, the top had to be probably 20 to 25 inches diameter or more. And he's like, it's just so heavy, we do it here. And I said, well, how often do you redo it? And he's like, well, we pull all of the old stuff every week on Monday mornings and redo it. And then we come in every other day. So Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday and Saturday, he said. And if there's any like dead leaves, they pull them out and replace it. And then they chuck everything on Monday. And I'm just thinking, holy crap, that's a lot of money in flowers.
Yeah. It definitely is.
But and he ended up giving me a long stem rose. He's like, thank you for being interested in what we do. People typically don't care about the floral arrangements and that kind of thing. And I'm like, you guys are all cast members. You guys all have a part to play in the experience that we have when we come. They did have something different in Oh, it's next to Pete's Silly Sideshow. That it's like a hold on, I'll come up in a second. That gift shop. It was like a gift shop, and it had snacks in it. They didn't have a whole lot of merchandise in there, but they had tables and chairs in there, which was really nice.
Excuse me.
You're okay. You typically drive, don't you, Christy, when you go down?
Yes, definitely.
What is your number one road trip hack or tip?
Well, I like to drink a lot of liquids while I'm traveling, which, resorts to a lot of stops. But I don't like to have a bunch of snacks in the car. So I typically pack multiple waters. And if I'm traveling with other people, we have, I don't have one in here, but Vera Bradley has these blankets that fold into a pillow.
Oh,
They start off in a pillow and you can unfold into a blanket. So waters and the pillow blankets that you can just toss in the trunk when you get to your resort, or you can take them up to your room with you. And rest areas. I like to stop at rest areas for bathroom breaks.
One of the things that, and this is something that I've carried, like for our vacations growing up, we're driving to military bases that my dad had been at, and dad complaining that it was different than when he was there.
Oh, yeah.
Or this piece of dirt right here used to have this building on it. Okay, Dad. Like, I'm 14 and don't care. You know?
One thing I probably wouldn't suggest doing, because it technically is against the law, but we did as kids all the time, is my parents would pull off on the side of the road, not the interstate, the side of the road, like, because when we're going to places, it's not all interstate. There's a lot of back roads and stuff.
Yeah.
We would always pull over at a cotton field and pick cotton.
Oh, okay.
So, and my dad really liked to stop at the farmers markets on the side of the road and go get some fresh fruits and eat those on the way there or the way home or something. I don't do that now, but when we were kids, we did that.
Well, a lot of things that we did as kids, we wouldn't do now.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Mom always did was we always had like a mug in the car. And when Dad would stop for gas, Mom would take our cups in and fill them with ice. And in the trunk of the car, we would go to the grocery store. And this is when Shasta Cola was really big. And Shasta was like an off-brand. And you can find it places now, but it's not as big as it used to be. But our grocery store would sell them 6 for $1 in the summer. And so Mom would let me pick like $20 worth of soda. And she'd say, okay, well, your dad wants this kind, so you need to get X amount of this kind. And Mom didn't really care as long as it didn't have caffeine in it. So like when we would stop to get gas, we would pour a can of soda over our ice. So when Sam and I were getting ready to go to Florida, like I said earlier, it wasn't planned. We had very little spending money for this trip. We stopped to get gas, and Sam's like, why don't you go in and get us a 12-pack of soda? That way we can have soda to drink in the car. Well, I walked in, and right on the left, this is my right hand, the right hand side, when I walked into Dollar General, there was a big rolling cart of soda, and it was buy 3 for 85 cents a piece. And so I picked up 3 2-liters of soda, and we just went to the gas station and each got a cup of ice. And some places will charge you for a cup of ice, some places will not. And so normally they won't charge you if you have your own cup. So we did have to pay for our cup initially, and it does depend. Some places will still charge you for the ice. But we just filled our cups out of the soda that we had in the car. And it's so much cheaper than grabbing a soda at the convenience store.
Yeah, I think that's why we take water. But, I mean, we definitely prefer water over soda on trips. Just because if you spill it, it's not as hard to clean up.
And that's why we have a lid we have a lid and a straw. And we have 2 cup holders like right here beside us, and then we each have one in our doors. So that did help. Yes, you can actually still find Shasta at Menards. Menards is a it's kind of like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, and they have a grocery section, and it's almost like a really weird Walmart because they've got kids' toys, they've got seasonal stuff, they've got lumber, they've got grocery. It's like, am I in a lumber yard or am I at Walmart?
The other thing that I do is I have they're like seatbelt protector things for kids, but it's got a pillow on it.
Yes.
So they have like pillows built into their seatbelt, so it's like sits right here in the little pillow, and they can go like that. I like those. Those are always on there though.
Yes, Randy, save big money at Menards. And like 9 times out of 10, they're running an 11% cash back special, where if you submit like this little receipt off the bottom, they'll send you, it's pretty much like a gift certificate back to the store with 11% of your subtotal to spend at Menards. So that's really fun when you have like a really big purchase to have like several $100s coming back. But it comes to you in like postcard form. So like I swear that if we get a really good one, our mail carrier steals it. Because we had one that was supposed to be for like a couple $100s that we never got.
Why does it keep going away?
Because it's scared. Oh, it looks like, let's see. Olaf came back on the 15th, and Kevin, which is the bird from Up, is going to be returning to Animal Kingdom later in the month. So that's really awesome. It's really awesome to see all the character stuff coming back to the theme parks.
I like Kevin.
Me too. That's something that I have never done and that I should. The friendship boat ride there in World Showcase.
Yeah, I've not done that either.
Might have to do that in July.
Well, actually, the first time I took a ferry or a boat was my last trip.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So when I was staying at the Dolphin, was it the Dolphin? Yeah. I took their boat over to Hollywood Studios, and then the night that I left, the very last night there at Magic Kingdom, they had already, when I was leaving, they had already stopped the monorail, but they were still using the ferry boat. So I had to take the ferry boat back over to the Ticket and Transportation Center. You know what? I take that back. I took the ferry once. I think it was it 2019? I took it from the Ticket and Transportation Center over to the Poly. Was it the Poly?
The ferry doesn't go to the Poly.
Then it was to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I took that in 2019. So it wasn't the first time, but it was that one. We were in a hurry.
Yeah, if you want a really relaxing way to get to the Magic Kingdom, then the ferry boat is 100% the way to go. Sam and I used the ferry when we went on our very first trip in 2014, but we haven't ridden it since. But we've ridden the friendship boats, which are the ones that go Epcot to Studios, and we've taken the one from Wilderness Lodge to Magic Kingdom several times. And there is an indoor section and an outdoor section on those boats, and they are really fun. And the cast members on there are really nice, and they crack the same kind of corny jokes that they do at Whispering Canyon Cafe. So it's like, I want to say like 12 to 15 minutes between Wilderness Lodge to Magic Kingdom. So it's a fairly quick ride, but it's a lot. Sam and I filmed it once, but Sam and I rode it for like an hour. That was mainly because I took a nap. I did that on the friendship boats our first year. I was like exhausted on our day off, our down day. I did not realize how much walking it was going to be, and I fell asleep on the friendship boats. And they're just like, okay, whatever. Sam's like, okay, well, apparently we're just gonna ride the boats around for a while.
I got to go potty, and Loki's got to bark. So I'll be right back. Okay. I'll take my phone in there with me and message you on there, ask you questions, so we're still interacting.
Okay, sounds good. I was like, Christie's gonna be live for the bathroom. Odd. So, I'm almost out of water. I'm going to grab me another bottle. Randy says, I want to go to a Meijer again. Went there long ago in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, I haven't been to a Meijer grocery store before. Sam and I are super excited. We're going to stop at Buc-ee's on the way to Florida this year. We had talked about it when we were headed to Miami last July, and we're like, oh, we'll stop on our way going back. Well, if you haven't watched our cruise videos, there was, when you put your deposit down, they end up double charging you and refunding the first or the second set. So we were really like down to bare essentials on the way home. And thanks to my parents who floated us some cash, and then we paid them back when we got the refund. Vintage Stock is texting me. We were gonna stop on our way back, but we didn't. And so Sam, hey Christie, she's coming at us from the bathroom. We are going to stop at Buc-ee's. They apparently have a beef jerky bar, and Sam and I both want to go to the beef jerky bar, and I want to be able to say that I've gone to a Buc-ee's, and we both want to get a t-shirt. So we are really excited about going to our first Buc-ee's. And apparently, like, semis aren't allowed to stop there. It's a gas station. Like, it's like bigger than a truck stop. It's bigger than a Walmart. And I pointed out to Sam, and he's like, holy cow. So we're really excited to go to Buc-ee's in July. Buc-ee's! I guess they originated in Texas, and they're kind of expanding. So that's really cool. Supposedly there's one going in Springfield, Missouri, which is like a 5-hour drive for us. And yes, Sam and I would drive 5 hours to go to a gas station. Odd, I know, but this has come up recently. People are like, so are you guys having kids? Are you not having kids? What's going on? And I always have to take a deep breath before I answer this question. Growing up, and I remember this very, very vividly, and I don't know why this particular thing stuck out in my brain as a child. Maybe subconsciously I knew I couldn't have kids. But she's my oldest cousin, Jenny. When she got married, I was young. And Patriotism USA, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Glad that you're coming hanging out with us this morning. I remember the card that she got, and I don't remember if my mom got it for her or if it was, I don't remember who, but I remember the card. It said, congratulations on getting married, or something about now that you're getting married, you don't have to answer the question about getting married. But the inside of the card said, the next question now is, so when are you having kids? And everyone thought it was kind of funny. And like, I think that in the 90s, it was still very taboo to speak about. And I mean, it's still really taboo. It's less now than it used to, but infertility isn't talked about a lot. And asking someone who doesn't have kids, or like, when are you having kids? Like, you just don't ask that because you don't know what's going on. And so lately, like, it's been, I don't know why all of a sudden it's come up uh from people, but like a couple people at work, um it came up last year and because somebody did an April Fool's joke about being pregnant. And I couldn't talk to this person for probably a couple weeks. And they're like, Lena, we haven't talked in like 2 weeks. What's going on? And I said, I was upset with you and I didn't know how to express it. So I didn't want to say something that would have ruined our friendship. And she went, what do you mean? I went, you did an April Fool's joke about being pregnant when you weren't. And she kind of looked at me and went, oh yeah, you can't have kids. I guess that wasn't really funny, was it? And I went, no. I mean, to some people it might be, to some people it's not. And I mean, and I know people are like, well, Lena, you've known for several years that you can't get pregnant. Why are you still bothered by it? Because
that's a big deal. So
it's a big deal. It's something that I don't think I will ever get over or not think about. But
not until you're no longer able to, like
getting a little older.
Yeah.
But Sam and I had talked. Kansas has a state rule that says that military members cannot adopt until you are 10 years past being in the military, because there's always a chance for a recall up. And they declared that military families are unstable because of potential deployments and moves. Okay, whatever. So Sam and I figure we're going to almost be 50 when we are able to adopt.
Can you do
foster care?
Yes.
Yes. But I don't think my heart could handle that. So because Sam and I had talked about it. But I told the person, I said, we are a childless family. It's not uncommon. There's some people that choose not to have kids. And I kind of laughed the other night to Sam and I went, this not having kids things might be okay. And he kind of looked at me because I think it's the first time I've ever said it, at least out loud. And he went, okay, kind of looked at me and go, at the end of the day, when I come home, my house is quiet. All the kids get to go home and it's not mine. So am I sad that I don't have little kids to take to Disney and to see Mickey for the first time through their expressions? Yeah, a little bit. But you get to watch the other parents with their kids on their first visit. Or we were in Magic Kingdom and we were eating lunch and there was this a little, and like, I understand why they call them toddlers, because they literally like waddle around, and literally walked to Mickey. And they're like, oh, they took her first steps, and everyone was going, oh. It was so cute. And then they wanted to go under the rope to get to Mickey, and they couldn't, and then they got mad. So. But yeah, so I think I've come become okay. I like I said, I don't think I'll ever be 100% okay, but it is nice to come home and not have to, like, if I want to get in my pajamas and cook canned soup for dinner, I'm not getting calls from the school. Why did your kids say they only got a can of soup for dinner? Because that's all I felt like cooking after dealing with kids all day. Now, don't take it wrong. I love my job. I love the kids that I work with. But sometimes it's a lot.
It's a lot for anyone.
We are down, like, we are already getting emails for this next week of, we don't have any subs left for this day, or we don't have any subs left for this day. I'm like, that's like a week away. They're like, so unless you're dying, see you at work. Great.
Sorry. I'm working.
You're fine. True confessions over here. We still haven't unpacked from vacation.
It happens.
Those suitcases have been opened and stuff's been grabbed out of them, so it's a wreck on the floor, but we haven't unpacked yet. It's kind of been shoved back into the suitcase. That is one of the things that I'm going to work on this afternoon, is getting that done, or at least some of it organized, put away. We have been on here for 2.5 hours.
We have.
Christie, why don't you tell us what's going on with you as we start to wrap this thing up?
Today's video is I release videos every Monday and Friday, and then every other day is shorts. So if you're interested in any of my shorts, which are also on my reels and also on my TikToks, you can find those every day on my channel at 8 a.m. But on Mondays and Fridays, I post videos. Today's video is a review for Too Faced Better Than Sex perfume, which is a new release product that they literally just released. So I've got that, and that was posted at 8 o'clock this morning, so like an hour and a half ago. And Thursday's Magical Makeup with Christie theme. The theme is Lisa Frank, so that should be fun. Hopefully Caitlin can join us because that was her suggestion. So yeah, that's it. Really.
Okay, so our schedule has changed. I've mentioned it a couple times. Videos will go up Monday, Thursday, and Friday unless there's a collab or a swap, and then those videos will be added into the mix. So the videos that they're trip videos and travel tips and fitness Fridays or Fitness Friday, and this Friday is an awesome one. It's a drink that I found on TikTok, and it's amazing. And it's low in calories, low in points if you follow Weight Watchers, and it can be made alcoholic or non-alcoholic. So I make sure that if you're not yet subscribed and hit that notification so you see that video, because I'm really excited about it. And then Christie and I are probably going to have a chat backstage and see when we are going to want to restart Travel Talk and how we want to move forward with that. And those go back and forth between my channel and Christie's channel. Like she said, Thursdays are Magical Makeup on her channel. Fridays are sometimes Castle Chat, which we haven't done in a long time, and we need to get that kind of figured out too. So want to thank everyone who came and hung out with us today, and we will see you in another video or live stream and around the net.